Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday, also known as the 4 p.m. Report After Show. Why do we call it that? Well, we first talk quickly about our podcast, the 4 a.m. Report. Susan, why don't you tell everybody what this week's focus was?
This week we had an episode about the unsung heroes of marketing, which is like, what a lot of marketing gets around by word of mouth. A lot of information that you gain from your customers and stuff comes from some people. And often those people are the cogs in the wheel that you don't see. And so we called it the 3 R's, which is the reporters, often like we said, to even put together a show like this in which we find stories that are happening in the week and stuff that's cool. It's because there are people who are like, hey, did you guys hear about this? Did you see that bit of news? Here's a link, here's a screenshot. So those are the people that, they never ask for anything. They're always there to give you that information that you're seeking or help you along. I think the second was was it the referrers? Like, if they don't actively engage with anything that you're putting out there, you probably wouldn't see them on any of your lists. But along comes some business and they're like, oh, XYZ recommended you. And then you know that like these people sort of are talking about you in places. And then the third was the Ralliers, just the people who keep you going. And as we talk about end of year burnout and stuff, these are the people who kick you in the pants when you need it and tell you some truths when you need to hear them. So that was our episode. Go have a listen. It's another short one. We've been doing some, again, paying homage to our micro side and doing about 10-minute episodes, right, Will?
Yes. So let's get into the topics of the week that we found interesting, thirsty in a good way, thirsty in a bad way. I know you wanted to talk about the mysterious monolith in Utah.
Oh yeah, it's a cool story all around. If you haven't followed it, the gist of it is there was this metal monolith that was in the middle of the desert. Nobody knew who put it there, probably an art installation, but obviously stories like aliens, etc. came out. And then it disappeared a few days ago. And you were saying that
yesterday I read in The Guardian that there was someone there to look at it and they photographed 3 or 4 men taking it down, removing it. No one's sure who they were or if they're the ones that originally had something to do with it going up or if they're people who just were like, this is an eyesore, we want it gone. So it is still a bit of a mystery, isn't it?
It is a mystery. But what I think is super cool is the brands jumping on it. And Will, your favorite brand of the year, Burger King with their newsjacking superpowers, they jumped on and they had a pile of nuggets that were arranged where that thing is, which they said, who did this? And obviously many other brands jumped on it as well, including many memes are circulating the interwebs about LinkedIn's disappearing stories. So LinkedIn gave stories to many people and now they've taken them back. So people are comparing the missing LinkedIn stories to the missing.
It's so funny because that's what brands have now become, like the funny sarcastic meme makers out there on the internet. The brands are now becoming that. And we were talking about how newsjacking for brands, like funny tongue-in-cheek newsjacking, is the new multi-million-dollar marketing campaign, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's the next level. We all know how to inform. We need to learn how to inform in an entertaining way. And I think some brands are really rising to that challenge. So you had a really cool story from another one of your favorites, didn't you?
Yes. Well, this is just a funny, like, oh my God. Cher, mega music actress, whatever, she has been involved in an organization that's basically freed the world's quote unquote loneliest elephant. His name is Kavan. He was in the Islamabad Zoo, notorious for its bad conditions. I guess this poor elephant was obese and mentally unstable. And so Cher was part of a group that got him to a sanctuary in Cambodia, and she just flew over there. And so there's pictures of Cher with this elephant. And at one point she's serenading the elephant. It was just so many weird things all at once, like a good news story about an elephant, Cher singing to the freed elephant. It just made my day. It made my weekend.
I love it.
When I heard about that, I thought that was just such a cute story right now. So that's just a fun
I like that. Yeah. You know what? I think it's quite cool that, over the top. I love over the top to begin with. But you remember a few weeks ago we talked about about Kim Kardashian's 40th and how that over the top was it had us all going like, no, too much. So you see, because this is so heartwarming and it's for a good cause and it's purpose over profit or whatever it is,
Yeah.
people are suddenly like, oh, look at Cher, good Cher, the rescuer of elephants. So it's all in the intent, I think. I love that story.
Yeah.
What else did we have? Because we want to rush through this and focus on some real gift thirsting for our gift guide. So stay, tuned for that.
Now, Susan, this morning I was listening to the CBC's Front Burner podcast, and they were talking about that online game sensation that's taken over since we've all been in lockdown, called Among Us on the Twitch platform, and how politicians like AOC in the States and Jagmeet Singh here in Canada have actually gone on these platforms, and they obviously have a side of them that's a gamer to begin with. And they've gone on these platforms and authentically engaged and got kind of good reviews about doing this. Because it could go it could go disastrously wrong too, when someone seems inauthentic on a platform and they're just there for that politician photo op or to get their messaging across, which I think Jagmeet, when he and AOC played Among Us, and they live streamed them each playing it over the weekend. The Front Burner people were saying that at first he seemed like that politician, then he loosened up, and that's when things got fun. And they played for hours, apparently, this game Among Us.
I love it.
I'm not a video gamer, but I want to check it out. Like, I'm curious now. So I wanted to know what you thought about that, about wanting to explore new platforms digitally, but how do you not seem like you're doing it for that, I want to go out and get that political photo op?
I think it's just oversimplifying, as it might sound like. It's just, don't go where you don't know anything about it. Just, there's enough opportunity and enough niches that you can explore, which can have something to do with you and be really authentic. That's a horrible word, but you have to be authentic. You can't just show up and try to be a part of the cool crowd. It's going to last 5 minutes. So I do think you need to stick with what you know well. And that's why these people are having success, because they're into it. Yeah,
I thought it was really neat. Very cool. Then speaking of being authentic, we wanted to shout out Elliot Page. He came out as transgender, was in Juno, has been in many different films, is from Nova Scotia.
Umbrella Academy, which I binge watched.
In right now. Yes, I did watch that as well. It's a good show. Little side note, actually, when I used to do food media tours for a client and we go to Nova Scotia, it was Elliot's stepmom, Debbie Page, who was our food stylist. So we would hear little stories about Elliot, who then obviously was Ellen, from our food stylist. So I thought that was just a cute little...
Very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so, that kind of was the big news yesterday here in Canada, at least, and I'm sure across the world. It's pretty cool talking about being your authentic self. So very cool.
So that's it. That's our week. There will be an extra this week, a second part, like we said, a celebration of our name thirst, and it's a bunch of cool gift ideas. That's interesting. We'll come back with that.
Yeah.